Hello, American Patriots. Douglas Ducote here. This video is going to talk about President Trump deciding no longer to help fund the World Health Organization, aka WHO, and why he's not doing that, and to hopefully at least explain in some way, shape, or form to the liberals and Democrats that are all up in arms right now, especially CNN and MSNBC, what the World Health Organization actually did or did not do that caused more pain and suffering across the world. And that's what the president focused in on. So we're going to go over that real quickly. I'm going to make it as simple as I possibly can, so it's very clear what they did or didn't do that caused the president to say, we're done funding your ass. All right. Before I get into that, a little follow-up from yesterday's video that my wife and I put out. I just want to say that, boy, did I trigger some people. Trumpster Bob and Dougie Ducote Clown and Unread Bat. Seems they finally realized that their days are numbered with stalking and harassing and cyberbullying other people based off of their own crazy ideology and their own sets of facts that are absolutely filled with no merit statements. So now that they've realized that they've committed crimes and they realize there is an ongoing law enforcement investigation into what they've been doing to me and other conservatives and Republicans, those especially on YouTube, they are, boy, did I trigger them. And guess what? You know what? You guys have done nothing but slander good American patriots because of your own ideology that doesn't line up with any factual information. And Trumpster Bob, for instance, went literally nuts. He put out a video last night when he saw mine, just flipping the hell out. And then he started again today. And you know what? I'll be honest. It's good to see that the truth is getting under their skin. It's good to see that I'm in their head. It's good to see that they're coming to the realization that they're nothing but a bunch of scumbuckets that dwell off of other people to try and build their own name up when they've got no followings and nobody watches their stuff. So they think because they have maybe 100 or two subs and 50, 60 people watch their videos that nobody's going to pay attention to what they're doing to people like me and other conservatives and Republicans on YouTube. Look, what they're doing is a crime, and we laid out what those crimes were. On top of that, it's even more so, or more important in my view, of what's happening to me and my family by them making fake bomb threats using my name and my email and my phone number and contacting organizations that are predominantly African American, such as the Black Panthers or the Black Lives Matter movement, pretending to be me and calling them the N-word and other disgusting things. So what goes around comes around. You guys sit back and you slander and you do horrible things to good people, and now it's coming back to bite you in your ass. And when law enforcement is finished with you, then we're going after you in a court of law. So Trumpster Bob and Dougie Ducote the Clown and Unread Bat, get your panties in a wad, unwad them, shove them in your mouth, whatever you want to do. But your days of harassing and trying to destroy the reputation and threats to American patriots, those days are numbered. And you will, in the long run, pay for what you have done. Justice will be served legally in the United States of America. You will not get the last laugh. You are the lowest pond scum on planet Earth. And because of your actions, people like me are fed up with your BS and are willing to go after you and point out to law enforcement the things you have said and done that are crimes in America. And that's all three of you. Now, on top of that, who's ever responsible for the terrorist threats using my name, your ass is going to go away for a long, long time. I might even come visit you while you're in prison so I can laugh at your dumb ass on the other side of the window. Enough on that issue. Let's talk about the World Health Organization. What has these liberals and Democrats just flipping out on President Trump? Trump, according to them, what he's doing here with the World Health Organization by restricting to pay them, no longer being a part of that organization, is going to destroy more lives. So let's get to the facts. The president announced Tuesday, that was yesterday, the 14th, that the United States would immediately halt funding for the World Health Organization, saying it had put political correctness over life-saving measures, noting that the U.S. would undertake a 60 to 90-day investigation into why the China-centric World Health Organization had caused so much death by severely mismanaging and covering up the coronavirus spread. Now, all those on the left and all those Democrats are talking about how Trump's responsible for he didn't act fast enough and, he didn't take this serious enough. Well, let's go date by date as to what information Trump was receiving. First, let me say this. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the top infectious disease expert in the U.S. and a key member of Trump's coronavirus task force, has said misinformation from China, repeated by the World Health Organization, had affected U.S. response efforts. The United States is the World Health Organization's largest single donor, and the State Department had previously planned to provide the agency $893 million in the current 2-year funding period. Trump said the United States contributes roughly $400 million to $500 million per year to the World Health Organization, while China, the people they're covering up for, only offers up $40 million a year. The money saved will go to areas that most need it, Trump said. The World Health Organization repeatedly covered up for China and parroted the Chinese government's claim that there was no human-to-human transmission. On December 31st, let's go back a few months, the country of Taiwan, which China hates and does not consider a country, warned the World Health Organization about signs of human-to-human transmission, but the World Health Organization didn't make it public. On January 9th, the World Health Organization repeated China's claim that the virus does not transmit readily between people and made the disastrous decision to oppose travel restrictions that President Trump put in place and oppose other countries that were doing the same. Folks, Taiwan sounded this alarm after they were receiving information from doctors inside China telling them what was happening. And the World Health Organization, because China doesn't recognize Taiwan as a country and doesn't like them, sided with China and refused to put the information out there. Let's move forward. On January 14th, the World Health Organization again repeated China's talking points that there was no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission, despite the fact that doctors in Wuhan, China had warned otherwise, the same doctors that were then arrested and charged with leaking state information. And the main doctor that did that ended up dying in prison of COVID-19. Senior World Health Organization officials suspected human-to-human transmission from the onset, which we know because of what Taiwan told them back at the beginning of the year, back in actually December, that human-to-human transmission could take place and would take place. Yet they kept the information from the world because it would make China look bad. Again, political correctness. On January 23rd, the World Health Organization found that the impending pandemic didn't represent a public health emergency of international concerns. We're talking January 23rd here. Trump's already put in travel restrictions. We're already talking about cases that are coming into America. What are we going to do? He's already put together a task force at this point. But no, they won't tell you none of that shit. While at the same time, he's getting information from the World Health Organization that contradicts what Taiwan is saying and what the doctors that are now in prison in China were saying, because China says it's not so. And to this day, they've still not come clean about everything that took place and how this disease came about. Let's move forward. On February 29th, when the coronavirus was spreading around the world, the World Health Organization continued to put political correctness first by opposing life-saving travel restrictions. Now, if you're the President of the United States and you're hearing from all the chatter happening across the globe that there is an epidemic happening where people, it's like the flu, except it's way worse and can affect a whole lot more people and a lot faster, and then it starts spreading across the country and people are dying across the world, and where it started at is telling you it's no big problem. And the people responsible for letting the world know if there's a problem, ring the quote 911 bell, hey, we've got a pandemic on our hands, wasn't telling the president the truth or the world the truth. It was March before the WHO, the World Health Organization, actually got on track with the rest of the countries when it was exposed that they were covering up for China. And that, folks, is the rest of the story. The story that CNN and MSNBC and the Democrats and the liberals do not want you to hear. Why? Because, it's Trump's fault. Everything is President Trump's fault. And that's all they want to say. Well, now I've told you. Now I've shared with you what happened. Don't take my word for it. Look it up on the internet. It's all there for you to see exactly why the president made the decision he did to withhold paying these people right now these millions of dollars because they are responsible for not only American lives, but lives across the world. People died because they withheld factual information that we needed to know and then fought back against the travel restrictions. So the World Health Organization and China and the Democrats and the liberals can go pound sand up their ass for trying to put all the blame on our president when all the blame needs to be put in two places: China and the World Health Organization. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving in the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, first responders, their families, our doctors, nurses, all those in the hospitals that are on the front line fighting this pandemic. Our Blue and Gold Star families, our Angel families, our president, and our country. Folks, I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. And for now, I'm Douglas Ducote, and I'll see you soon.